Senator Bato de la Rosa breaks his silence on the arrest of former President Rodrigo Duterte, saying he is ready to join Duterte in The Hague in Netherlands. A day after the former president's arrest, de la Rosa, in a post on Facebook on Wednesday, March 12, says that if all legal remedies are exhausted and still justice is to no avail, he doesn't want his family to suffer from cops looking for a heartbeat. De la Rosa adds that he is ready to join the former president, hoping that they would allow him to take care of Duterte. Being Duterte's former top cop, De La Rosa was also the chief implementer of Duterte's brutal campaign against illegal drugs. This landed him on the roster of Duterte administration officials who were accused of crimes against humanity by drug war victims before the International Criminal Court. Based on reports, Duterte's drug war left at least 6,000 people dead, but human rights groups estimated the death toll to be at least 20,000, as several of these are extrajudicial killings. The former president was arrested upon his arrival at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport on Tuesday, March 11. Duterte's arrest came amid a case before the International Criminal Court for his alleged crimes against humanity during his administration's war on drugs. The Supreme Court has denied the request for the immediate issuance of a temporary restraining order, which would block the government from further cooperating with the International Criminal Court. Former President Rodrigo Duterte and Senator Bato de la Rosa filed a petition on Tuesday, March 11, asking the Supreme Court to stop the national government from cooperating with the International Criminal Court investigation on the Duterte administration's war against drugs. The petition was filed hours after the former president was served an arrest warrant from the International Criminal Court upon arriving at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. According to Supreme Court spokesperson Camille Ting, the High Court decided upon deliberating the 94-page petition filed by the former president and De La Rosa. Ting says that after a virtual deliberation on the petition, the Supreme Court found that the petitioners failed to establish a clear and unmistakable right for the immediate issuance of a temporary restraining order. Ting adds that the Supreme Court then directed the respondents to comment on the petition within 10 days from notice. De La Rosa was Duterte's first Philippine National Police Chief during his administration and was also the chief implementer of Duterte's drug war. Davao City Mayor Sebastian Duterte is seeking to compel the government to bring his father, former President Rodrigo Duterte, back to the country after his arrest by the International Criminal Court. The third of the Duterte children filed the petition before the Supreme Court on Wednesday morning, March 12. This is an hour earlier than his youngest sibling, Veronica or Kitty, who filed her separate petition at around 10:26 a.m. Much like his sister, Baste files an urgent petition for habeas corpus arguing that Duterte's detention by Philippine authorities for transfer to the International Criminal Court violates Philippine sovereignty and international law. Based on the petition, the detention and attempted transfer of the former president constitute a grave violation of his fundamental rights under the 1987 Philippine Constitution, the principles of due process, and the sovereign authority of the Philippine judicial system. According to Duterte in his petition, the writ of habeas corpus stands as the most immediate recourse to rectify his deprivation of liberty. The writ of habeas corpus is an order issued by a court directed to persons detaining an individual and commands them to produce the physical body of a person whose liberty is restrained and explain sufficient cause of detention. The petition is urging the Honorable Court to issue the writ of habeas corpus, order the immediate release of the former president, and to prevent any further unlawful attempts for his transfer to the International Criminal Court. The petition was filed a day after the former president was sent to The Hague in Netherlands, where the International Criminal Court is headquartered. Rodrigo Duterte was arrested and sent to the International Criminal Court following an arrest warrant against him for the crimes against humanity he allegedly committed during his administration's war against drugs. Veronica Kitty Duterte, the youngest child of former President Rodrigo Duterte, is asking the Supreme Court to compel the government to bring her father back to the country after he was arrested by the International Criminal Court. The former president's legal counsel, Attorney Salvador Panelo, and his son, Attorney Salvador Paulo Panelo Jr., filed a writ of habeas corpus before the Supreme Court with Kitty as the petitioner on Wednesday, March 12. The writ of habeas corpus is an order issued by a court directed to persons detaining an individual and commands them to produce the physical body of a person whose liberty is restrained and explain sufficient cause of detention. According to Panelo Jr., the grounds for the petition are the lack of jurisdiction of the International Criminal Court over the country and the basis of the extradition treaty.
Ang ICC, pwede lang siya mag-exercise ng jurisdiction niya kapag ang national legal system ng bansa ay hindi umaandar, hindi nagfa-function. Pero kitang-kita naman natin na ang Supreme Court at ang mga korte natin sa Pilipinas maayos na tumatakbo. Ang DOJ natin may kakayahan na mag-prosecute.
The Philippines withdrew from the Rome Statute in 2019, shortly after the International Criminal Court launched an investigation into the alleged human rights violations committed during the drug war campaign. However, the government previously said that it is obliged to cooperate with the International Criminal Police Organization once the International Criminal Court issues an arrest warrant against Duterte. Panelo Jr. also argues that even if an extradition treaty exists between two countries, the accused must still be given enough time to answer complaints thrown against him.
Kahit na merong treaty na ganon, merong kailangang prosesong sundin. Kailangan bigyan mo ng pagkakataon yung accused na sagutin yung complaint at patunayan na hindi siya dapat ba-extradite sa bansa na nag-request sa kanya.
Kitty's older brother, Davao City Mayor Baste Duterte, also filed a separate petition before the Supreme Court on Wednesday. Mayor Duterte also seeks to compel the government to bring the former president back to the country after his arrest by the International Criminal Court. The former president is a subject of the arrest warrant issued by the International Criminal Court for crimes against humanity allegedly committed concerning the war on drugs during his administration. The official copy of the arrest warrant issued by the International Criminal Court that the government received from the International Criminal Police Organization became the basis of the former president's arrest. The palace is denying claims that former President Rodrigo Duterte did not receive proper medical care after his arrest on Tuesday, March 11. Duterte's daughter Veronica Kitty Duterte said her father did not receive adequate medical attention during his stay at the Villamor Air Base in Pasay City. He was brought there after being arrested upon his arrival at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport from Hong Kong. In a photo posted on Instagram on Tuesday, Kitty Duterte claimed that her father was getting weaker by the minute as his glucose levels shot up beyond normal levels. In a briefing on Wednesday, March 12, Presidential Communications Office Undersecretary Claire Castro was asked for clarification on the claims of Kitty Duterte. Castro says,
"Hindi po yan totoo. Dahil nung panahon po na siya po ay nasa kustodiya na po, talaga pong ang pagtrato po sa kanya ay hindi po lamang basta-basta. Tinrato pa rin po siya bilang Pilipino at bilang former president. Kompleto po ang kasamahan po doon, may mga doktor po, may mga nurse, nandun din po ang kanyang mga abogado. So wala pong katotohanan na hindi po nabigyan siya ng tamang atensyon, especially patungkol sa medical needs na kailangan po niya."
The former chief executive is a subject of an arrest warrant from the International Criminal Court for alleged crimes against humanity he reportedly committed during his administration's war on drugs. He flew in a chartered plane on Tuesday night bound for The Hague, Netherlands, to face charges in the International Criminal Court headquarters. Instead of pushing for people power, the palace is urging supporters of former President Rodrigo Duterte to think and understand what really is going on with his case at the International Criminal Court. In a briefing on Wednesday, March 12, Presidential Communications Office Undersecretary Claire Castro was asked for a comment on Duterte supporters' supposed plan to gather and protest the arrest of the former president. Castro describes the plan as an act that would seem to push for the downfall of the government. She also points out that the arrest of Duterte was not illegal at all.
Hindi po ba pagbabaksak ito ng gobyerno? Unang-una po, may warrant of arrest. Pangalawa, may case na nakafile. Pangatlo, may mga di umanong biktima na magsasalita patungkol sa kaso. Hindi po ito basta gawa-gawa na kwento. May mga biktima. Hindi ito pagpaplanta ng ebidensya. Hindi galing ang kaso sa Pilipinas. Ito ang kaso ay pending sa ICC.
Castro says Filipinos should think and understand what is happening with the former president's case on the International Criminal Court.
Dapat ang mga tao ngayon, ang mga kababayan natin, mag-isip. Alamin, ano ba ang nangyayari? Ang kasong ito sa ICC ay hindi gawa-gawa ng pamahalaan. Gawa ito sa panahon ni dating Pangulong Duterte. Gawa ito ng war on drugs ni dating Pangulong Duterte. At aminado siya rito. Bakit isisisi ang pag-i-issue ng warrant of arrest? Ang pagpapadala sa kanya sa ICC? Kung siya mismo, sinabi ni dating Pangulong Duterte, Sue me. I will take all the legal responsibilities on this.
President Bongbong Marcos also reacted to these calls during his presidential address on Tuesday evening, saying the government is just doing its job. The former president flew out of the Philippines on Tuesday evening and is headed to The Hague in Netherlands to face the International Criminal Court. Duterte is facing a case at the International Criminal Court for crimes against humanity allegedly committed during the bloody war on drugs of his administration. The Philippine government should consider rejoining the International Criminal Court to help address ongoing human rights violations in the country, according to an international human rights group. The call came after former President Rodrigo Duterte's arrest on Tuesday, March 11, under a warrant issued by the International Criminal Court for his alleged crimes against humanity. In a statement on Wednesday, March 12, the Human Rights Watch says that the arrest of Duterte and his transfer to The Hague, Netherlands, where the International Criminal Court is located, affirms the court's relevance. It also says that Duterte's arrest underscores the court's significance in ensuring accountability for grave crimes. Because of this, Human Rights Watch Deputy Asia Director Brian Lau is urging President Bongbong Marcos to take further steps to address human rights violations. This includes extrajudicial killings and attacks on activists and civil society groups. According to Lau, President Marcos has begun to chip away at long-standing impunity for drug-related killings in the Philippines. Lau says that Marcos should follow through by rescinding Duterte's orders that unleash the war on drugs and prioritize comprehensive reforms of the Philippine police. But despite this, the palace on Wednesday, March 12 says that there has been no discussion yet on whether the Philippines will rejoin the International Criminal Court.